What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle for the next episode of this War of Mine. I'm happy to have you here. This should be a pretty fun game to play through. I'm going to leave two people on guard mode again because I've already done that. Everybody's feeling okay. I should have had him use a little bit of medication first, but we should be alright. I think everything's going to work out. Let's go ahead and I'm going to send him out to scavenge during the nighttime. And I think sticking with, we've got St. Mary's Church, which is caution advised. We've also got the decrepit squat. So we've got a couple of options for our earlier game, and I think we should be able to trade into some of the food that we need in order to keep ourselves safe. But for right now, we're going back to the shelled cottage to grab as many materials out of this place as we possibly can. So let's prepare and let's go. I don't think I want to take anything with me right now. Obviously, it would probably be a decent idea if I had made a crowbar to bring that with me, but we don't need anything really. So let's be on our way back out and we'll make it work. Alright, and so we left a big stack of stuff right here, and so materials are the effort of the day. We really want to bring back as many materials as we can possibly carry along with us. I mean, so many materials that I'm forgetting how to talk right now is my point. We just want loads and loads and loads of materials. I think that there was a little bit upstairs too that we had left behind. We don't have to worry about being quiet right now because I don't think there's actually anybody here. I've never seen there be anybody at the first location. It would be odd if they were. Let's go ahead and grab everything we can out of this place. A little bit more wood, so we're only bringing back 10 wood with us. I'll leave that behind so that I can bring back another stack of wood. 12 wood is better than 10 wood, definitely. It's kind of like 3 money being better than 2 money. You know, if you don't know what that's from, there's a Simpsons episode where Homer is like, I have 3 kids and no money. Why can't I have no kids and 3 money? And that's one of my favorite Simpsons quotes of all time. I don't know if it's worth it for us right now to clear this out, but I think I'm going to do it. Let's go ahead. I'm going to have him hang out right here. And in fact, this is not going to be thrilling. So I'm going to make a quick cut right here. We'll come back right after he finishes, and that'll be all good. Okay, and so we are back. Anybody need does anybody need an enormous ladder? Because we've got one back here, just in case Ricky Tikki Timbo fell down the well again. That was a story my mom used to read me when I was a kid. Okay, so we really need to come back here with a crowbar, is the feeling that I'm getting, because there's a number of doors that we need to force open. They're saying that there's a whole bunch of guns here, and if we could get those into our supply, I think that's a really, really good plan. Let's go ahead and book on out of here. I had thought about clearing out that debris pile too while the camera was no longer running, but we're already full up. I'll handle it at a different time. It'll be okay, I promise. Everything's gonna work out. I've got a handle on this game. Alright, and so back in we go. Day number 3. I'm gonna try and avoid going to any locations where there might be people with guns or, hey, look at all this stuff. Okay, so he brought back a bunch of stuff with him right now. We didn't get attacked, which is really, really good. And so the first thing that we want to do is let's send everybody to bed. Off we go. It looks like he actually recovered from... Yeah, they both recovered from their wounds, actually, so that's good. We'll leave Pavla as our main man for right now, and he's going to be our principal operator for the moment. He's slightly sick, so first things first, no, don't slide... Oh, that seems like a terrible plan. I don't want to sound negative right now, but I was a roofer, and sliding down a ladder like that is never a good plan. It rarely works out the way... You rarely look as awesome as you think you will. It's kind of like when you jump onto, like, the railing of the stairs and you slide down sideways on your ass. That goes wrong way more often than it goes right. Occasionally, you look like a, you know, a Disney character doing something awesome, but every now and again... It goes very, very wrong. And in fact, that is one of the ways that I ended up breaking my ankle one time. Let's go back over here. I caused all kinds of injuries when I was a kid. I was always hurt. It's a little embarrassing. The lack of parts is really hurting us right now. We could have made a lot of moonshine by this point, and unfortunately, it just hasn't come together. I think that in that situation, what we should do... The crude stove's a good plan. I was planning on feeding everybody today, so maybe I should do that. Let's go ahead and we'll make a crude stove. Yeah, we'll start off right there. So crude stove's going to go in here with the remainder of like our cooking and supply. Maybe not. Maybe I'll put it somewhere else. I guess we can cook dinner downstairs. I don't want to feel like I'm wasting time right now because I think the clock does run while you're placing. I could be wrong. And the other thing we need to do is we need to make a crowbar. Once we make a crowbar, we'll be able to break into all these locations in our own house, and we can also break into locations in that other house so that we can bring back way more stuff. You'll see that at the bottom, now that Pavla has used the medication, it'll say on meds. We'll know tomorrow whether or not that worked. Either slightly sick will go away, or it'll stay, and we'll have to try again with another round of treatment. We're using herbal medications, which means that basically we went out in the garden, we were like, rub this on the wound and maybe it'll get better? I don't know anything about this stuff. What, do I look like I know all kinds of crazy herbology type shit? I don't know anything. I'm the village idiot. You don't want to do this. Now, when we cook, we always want Bruno to cook. And we got something going on over here. Open up, I brought something for barter. Now, the downside to not having the reporter is that we don't have anybody that's good at bartering. The plus side here is that we have somebody that's really, really good at scavenging, and we have somebody who's really, really good at fighting, and then we have, well, somebody who's really, really good at, like, various athletic activities, and somebody that can make our food go farther. So no matter who you end up with, as long as you don't get the old lady, you should be fine. If you get the old lady, it's a little suspect. We can drop 2 of those right there. There is absolutely no reason that we should bother carrying around jewelry with us. It's completely worthless. And so we can get, it's not going to go super far because in times of need, like extra commodities like these don't tend to be that useful, but we should be able to get something out of this. I think that, what does he have here? If you can grow your own tobacco, that's a really good plan too. This item right here, you can make a garden later on that lets you grow this. This sells for really, really good prices. And in fact, you can actually do really well just bartering for tobacco, actually. Moonshine and tobacco, if you have those 2 things, you're in really solid shape. I would like, first things first, is we need parts, for sure. Oh, really? That's all that we're going to get out of this? I thought jewelry was worth more. I could be wrong. We don't need a lot of electronics. We only need 2 electronics in order to create the radio. You can make electronics later on, but we're looking at our survival for right now. So I'm going to be trying to get rid of like some of the things that I don't use. This may backfire on me. Actually, never mind. Instead of doing that, let's give him some of our dirtweed. There we go. We've got like ridiculous Connecticut dirtweed going on over here, and we can just sell that to him. And so he says our offer is just too damn impressive. Well, good. Hopefully we can do something here then. I'm going to take all of your parts since we've been very, very... Okay, so what if I take some parts off? Okay, so if we do that, we can get 2 food out of him. He'll come back, so this is not like a one-time deal. But we need parts. We definitely need parts. And so once we've got those, we'll keep our electronics. If I really, really, really wanted to do right by this, I could get rid of the vegetables and turn it into raw food, but we can make like a super meal out of, if we take these 2, we can make like a super meal and it works a little bit better. I don't really want to barter off anything else. Over the long term of the game, these bandages are going to become very, very useful. I would like to start to accrue some of these canned foods for kind of tough times, but let me see if I can add anything else on here. It won't do try harder. You should always go through and just see if you can add something. Because some things are almost worthless, and you can get them for nothing almost. So you should go through the list and see if you can balance things out a little bit better every now and again. I haven't looked at the game files, and I'm not really sure. Did I just give back one of the parts? There we go. I haven't looked at the game files and figured out the exact values of a lot of this stuff. But it never hurts to go through and see if you can't get a better deal. I've done it, and every now and again I surprise myself by finding, you know, some cheap thing that I was ultimately able to trade for. You never know. So I think this deal is looking pretty good for us. 2 food and 7 parts. I think that that's gonna... I think we can do well by that. I think that's looking okay. So let's go for it. I mean, I may regret giving up our medicinal herbs later on, but this is a ridiculously common item. Like, seriously, I find them all the time in my other playthroughs, so I don't really think we're gonna have any problem finding any weed laying around. It should be fine. Let's go back down here, and let's get started making some of the things we're gonna need in order to scavenge better tonight. I would love to make a crowbar, but for right now, what do we need to make the crowbar? I think the crowbar is probably more important for right now. Oop, never mind, you go to bed. We'll have Bruno come on up here. And actually, let's have Bruno get started making some meals. We're going to have him, he can't make a super meal without another fuel. Okay, so I guess make another fuel real fast. Let's make, in fact, let's make 3 fuels. And that'll take him a little bit. He should be able to finish off, though. We've got a little bit of daylight left, and I would love for him to at least feed a couple people today, because we've got a lot of food. It's dangerous to have this much food laying around your house, so I would rather... It's kind of like when you're in prison, you want to eat your meal as fast as you humanly can so that somebody else can't take it from you. Exact same concept here. You got to get the calories inside you while the getting's good. On this side, I'm going to make... So you get a double meal right there. I'm going to go ahead and make that. It's going to cost us 5 water, but I think it'll work out in the end. Marco is a skilled scavenger. He's tired. He's on meds and recovering. Okay. On this side, we're going to be running out of time pretty soon. I'm going to have the cook eat, obviously, so we'll get him going. So there's that. He's no longer hungry. I'm going to get him to hustle upstairs with a little bit of his extra energy. It's also going to be important that we make knives and weapons fairly soon. The first enemy attack should come in the next 24 to 48 hours. The shovel would be helpful, but I would much rather have the crowbar with where we're sitting at right now. So crowbar it is. We actually didn't need that many parts. What did I need those parts for? I needed them for something. Oh well. Let's make the crowbar for right now, and we'll start wrenching him. Come on, we already traded, man. Get on out of here with your striped shirt ass. Go. Bounce off, man. Oh, Charlie Brown looking bastard. Get up out of here. Alright. Although Charlie Brown, he had kind of like a, I don't know, it was like stripes, but it was like chevrons. So I guess that doesn't quite count. Get up out of here, you jailbird bastard. There. That's how we do it. Oh, they don't wear striped shirts anymore in the United States. Let's see if we can we wrench that open? No, we've already been in there. Okay, so let's break that bastard open then. I like the word bastard. I don't know if you've ever heard, like, I don't know if a lot of people use that word, but bastard is a great word. I like it because people don't take it as offensively, and it's just like, it's an easy swear word that actually doesn't add points to like your, I don't know, your standards and practices ticker, I guess. Why are you guys not waking up? Like, you guys should be auto waking up right now. Yeah, there you are. I need you to like do stuff. Hey, pry the door open. I command you. Splat wills it. There we go. That's what I like to see. I think the crowbar has a chance of breaking, though. So watch out for that. I think the crowbar can snap after a certain amount of use, and it also takes up an inventory slot. I'm going to get him started picking up that right there. Somebody was indeed knocking. Marco, go ahead and eat yourself dinner. You've earned it, you wonderful scavenging friend, you shiny rainbow-emitting friend. People who are good friends emit rainbows. I don't know if you've noticed that yet, or maybe you just don't have good friends, but I don't know. It seems like my friends are just like, oh! It's like when you shoot the rainbow poop in Binding of Isaac. It's the exact same sort of graphical concept. Do I need to break into that door, or was that opened already on its own? Let's go have a look real fast. That progress right there will stay, so it doesn't hurt you if you set it up to take care of. He's not tired anymore, which is good, which means we can put him on guard duty again. We'll go like 10 minutes of scavenging over here. It's not really going to help that much, but it's a little bit of something. It's a little bit of something. And so we can now put Pavel on guard duty. We can go ahead and we can put Bruno on guard duty. We'll go out with Marco to scavenge. I actually think it's a pretty decent idea. We've got the decrepit squat too. We've got plenty of food, so I'm not really concerned about a lot of this stuff. Let's just hit the shelled cottage again and see if we can't get a weapon out of this thing. I think that I'll bring the crowbar with me. Oh, it has durability. Okay, I think that's new. Was that in the pre-release version? I can't remember if that was. Either way, it's got durability, so the best thing that we want to do right now is try and make sure that maybe it snaps while we're out and around. Like, basically make it so that this empties up a slot after we get done. Scavenging time! Scavenge! That's the fancier way to say scavenge, just in case. You didn't know. You know, scavenge! It sounds like something you would say at some kind of, I don't know, some kind of ethnic celebration. Some kind of like Christmassy type deal, like everybody would raise their glasses and be like, Scavenge! If you really wanted to make it sound even more exotic, you could say, Scawenge! You could make the V into a W, and then it would sound super exotic, and then nobody would know what you were saying. But yeah, let's go ahead and bust this door open. Crackety, crackety. Don't use a crowbar, by the way. If you're in a building with people with guns and like armaments, people that could potentially murder you, you should strongly consider never using a crowbar ever. The crowbar actually looks like it's hanging in there pretty well for us. Let's get in here. Maybe we'll get some weapon parts or something. What does this say? One of the flyers that's been dropped on the city, it reads, "This is a zone of anti-terrorist operation. Persons remaining in the city will be treated as terrorist supporters. For your own and your family's safety, leave Pagorin immediately. The army guarantees you safe passage." Not many believe them after the atrocities they had committed. Yeah, and I can assure you, you're going to see some atrocities. There's some really, really horrible stuff that happens in this game that there's just like no way to like lighten the situation. You'll just be like, well, damn, that was awful. And you just won't even know what to say about it. Let's gather all this stuff up. I'd like to take a look at this pile over here and see what we've got. I mean, I think it's probably just roof materials that have collapsed in. This building has been burning for a while. I don't know if it's just me. We've got fertilizer. We've got a quality Rolo, so that's good. That's what they call them where I come from. Those are called Rolos. Cigarettes that you roll yourself. You call them Rolos. People get all excited about them, too. I had a friend who her dad ran a tobacco farm, and so she always had, like, the best tobaccos. She had, like, peppermint tobaccos and, like, salt and pepper tobaccos and just, like, the most ridiculous random flavors of tobacco, and they were all so delicious. The Rolos that she used to bring over, she'd bring them in a Ziploc bag. Oh, they were so good. They were the best. They were the best. It was the best of times, and it was also the best of times. There's no, I'm not gonna do the Tale of Two Cities thing. There was no worst of times. It was just the best of times and the best of times. The crowbar doubles as a weapon, which is pretty special. I like that. So that's pretty cool. What do we have in here? Ooh, liquor. Oh, wow. So this place just killed it right here. Alright, so let's... The things that are not quite so useful right now, he said, as he thought about what he wanted to leave and what he wanted to bring with him. These are a real tobacco cigarette, so those aren't as good as the quality Rolos, but these still will barter for quite a lot. The medications are good because you never know when somebody's going to get really, really sick overnight. It does happen occasionally. The moonshine is good for trading. The shell casings and the gunpowder can be pretty useful too. I think we can come back for a lot of this stuff, though. I think we've probably got about one run left in us to get back over here. And I'm feeling good about this location. In fact, I think we're feeling pretty stocked up right now. I think we can make a knife with the 2 parts right there, and from now on we'll leave the crowbar at home too so that we can use a crowbar as a weapon. We don't have a ton of wood. We do have 16 parts. We could use that for fuel, but I just think there's not going to be a whole lot of room. There's just a lot of good things that I want to bring back with me right now, and unfortunately, I'm just going to have to leave some of them. So let's bounce on back. Actually, I'm going to do the same thing here today that I did previously. What I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this out right here, and I'm going to clear out this pile real fast. Alright, I'll see you in a second. Okay, and so coming back into the episode, you'll see that I've got this all nice and cleared out. It's about 12:40. It's pretty late at night. Definitely past my bedtime. No, I fall asleep at like 5 a.m. I'm actually really, really bad about that sort of thing. Like, I never go to bed when I'm supposed to. Quality roll-ups. Yeah, son. Alright, so we've got all kinds of goodies hanging out over here. Yeah, put that in my bag. Y'all are coming along with me. There we go. So let's jump on back to the hideout now that we're full up. And we've still got 1 scavenging run, maybe 1.5 scavenging runs coming back to this location, but we're in really, really good shape right now. I don't know if other playthroughs on YouTube are going as well as ours, but from what I know about this game, we're not doing too badly right now. We're doing fairly swell. We probably got attacked last night. I'm back and I've got the meds. Good. We're not going to use pills, though, on a slight sickness. We've been raided. Okay, and so someone tried to rob us. They were just a couple of scavengers, so we fended them off. Too bad we had no weapons. Pavla was wounded, but the attackers didn't steal anything. We were able to defend ourselves. So that's unfortunate, because that means that we're already going through our band-aid stocks. How wounded is Pavla right now? He's slightly sick and he's slightly wounded. Okay, so I'm going to have him go, and he's going to handle that. Over here on this side, what I would prefer to do is let's go ahead and have people go to bed real fast. As you can see, Pavla's starting to slow down because this little orange list of his is looking a little bit overstocked. His bio has upgraded. It says, let's read it. Before this whole mess began, I lived with my wife and son in a better part of the city. I haven't seen them in a long time. I hope they're okay. I'm not doing so well, as you can see. Who needs football players during the war? Nobody cares about sports when every day can be their last. So I scavenge the ruins like everybody else, hoping for the best. All this shelling, sniper fire, and a lack of supplies make you want to hide away, sit down and cry, but we can't let them crush our spirit. We have to show them that they can't take away our dignity. It's difficult here, but you know how we did it on our street, so I'm assuming that that's a rough translation of, like, you know how we do in the hood, in the barrio. You do what you gotta do. Alright, so these guys are gonna go to bed real fast. We're gonna have Pavel come over here and help himself to some meds, but I'm probably not going to have him... Probably not going to have him use a band-aid until he's a little bit more wounded. A slight wound is not something to be incredibly terrified of. So for example, Bruno's slight wound went away after a while. You can tell him to rush, but it's not good for him. Oh, we can drink alcohol too. We've got liquor if we really want to party it up right now. I think it's probably a good idea to get a few more filters going. Like at least 3 more of those. So in order to allocate and make sure that we have enough water for the future, I'm going to get those started. When Bruno wakes up, I'm going to have him go ahead and cook a dinner real fast. Hopefully really, really fast so that Pavla can eat because he's feeling very hungry. These guys are just hungry, so I'd prefer to save it for later if I can, but we can get some mileage out of this. We've got more than enough food left. I think we should be easily able to last till day 8 or 9 off the food that we have right now. Until then, what I'd like to get started is I would love to get a liquor still up and running. I don't know if that's going to work out for me, but it's something that I would aim for. Let's go ahead and get the water going with him. I probably should have picked a little bit better. Anyone there? I need help. Shit. Okay, so let's swap that out real fast. I'll go talk to this guy in just a second, and we'll see if he's going to be helpful to us. Wait, is that the lady? If that's the old lady, we're not going to take her. We're going to send her on her way if that's the old lady. Because it's just an extra mouth to feed that unfortunately isn't very useful around the house. Like, it sounds like a shitty thing to say, but unfortunately, compared to a lot of the other characters, she's not that useful. However, it's the journalist. We'll take her. I think the old lady's good with kids or something, but I've never seen how that plays into the game. I don't think it's the old lady. I think that might be the journalist. Who is this? Can you help me board up my windows? I live nearby with my daughter, and I've heard rumors about looters pillaging houses and raping women. I can lock the doors, but they could get inside through the windows. Can you help me board them up? My husband was taken by the rebels in the first year of the war and hasn't returned yet. We're all alone. Please help us. Maybe later. It'll be alright. They didn't say no. Yeah, I can't do it right now. Right now, we're a little bit strapped. You gotta be careful in this game. When you do those events, it's gonna take the character away from you. Like, seriously, it takes the character away from you for like 48 hours, which could be very, very problematic. On this side, I'm just gonna cook one natural food real fast, and that's just gonna be for Pavla. Hopefully, he'll get to eat it before he comes down here. Okay, and so there it is. Let's go ahead and grab Bruno. And actually, I'm gonna have Bruno get started on that rubble right there. On that side, I'm going to have him eat the food, and in fact, I'm going to have Marco work on the rubble up here so that we can start breaking into some more stuff. There are still useful supplies in our house that make this whole thing survivable, and so we haven't even cleared out our own domicile yet, let alone, you know, the other places of use. He says he wouldn't mind another helping. He's still hungry, which is unfortunate. We'll put him to bed real fast, and if you sleep people, you see right here it gets recovering. You can assist in making these better by not letting people run around all the time. So if you put them to bed, they will recover slightly and the sickness will go away. And so I guess you put them down with the sickness. I don't want to get too disturbed right now because that's really dating myself. You know what made me feel old the other day? There was this kid that I was talking to. It was one of my friend's kids. And he said my dad gave me this CD of a band called Disturbed that he grew up listening to. And I was like, oh man, I remember when their first album came out. I bought it. I remember sitting in my room the day that album came out, listening to it on my CD player real fast. It was like, oh man, I feel so old right now. The kid was like, it's kind of old, but it still kind of rocks. I'm like, oh man, come on, don't do that. Don't do that. The joys of getting older, kids. Watch. The joys of getting older. I'll tell you that. Let's get the rubble out of the way there. How we doing down here? We doing good? Doing well, I guess. I always try not to offend my previous English teachers. So if you don't know the rule, if you're a non-native English speaker, maybe I'll give you a little lesson here. I don't know. I'm not trying to be ironic. I'm not trying to be a dick right now. I'm actually trying to be helpful. I'm not trying to be like an ironic douchebag at the moment. So for example, if it's a verb, so the difference, you can say that like I ran good. That's not correct syntax. It's I ran well. So if you have a verb, you use well as the adverb to go after it. And then if it's a noun, you use good. And so like that was a good taco. You know, that's the difference. So if you're describing a noun, you use good. If you're describing a verb, you use well. That's the only difference between the two. So there you go. English lessons with Splattercat. Oh, that is the worst cupboard ever. Damn it. Oh, man. Alright, well, what are you gonna do? I need you down here to make a weapon real fast. I think the reason that we weren't able to hold off those looters without injury is because we didn't have any weapons. And I feel bad about it because I do have the metalworking supplies to like make this occur. So come on. How long is it going to take us to make this? It take us 30 minutes to make a knife. So go ahead and make a knife real fast. That should get done right about the time the day comes to an end. We're not going to get that rubble out of the way, but we should be able to wrench it open with the crowbar. I'll save the lockpick for some of our adventures in other locations and localities. There it is, perfectly timed. Couldn't have asked for a better moment for that to work out. I think I'm going to break off the episode right here. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here at the Nerd Castle for the next episode of this War of Mine. I look forward to seeing you all in the next episode. Take care out there, everybody, and hi-do.